Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is the Ithaca Project, 8th Law, Object in Motion.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
Here I am again, writing a letter to you that I will never send. I cannot send it. There is too much at stake. You remember Dr. Zwicky, don't you? Dark matter has been his brainchild for the last 20 years, and now I think the idea has grown up. The man himself is gone with the wind, hiding, maybe even dead. His research, the grant money, the equipment, all of it's missing. And we think he may have even killed Dr. Laporte. But we can't be certain. There are others in the mix. Are they in cahoots with Zwicky? Or are they the ones he warned us about? The letter to the FBI by Zwicky's hand? Nazis are on our doorstep. They've snuck in behind our lines and they're watching us, tracking us. They've broken into our living quarters, searching. They've hijacked our airwaves, or they send secret messages. I don't know what is worse, when we saw them in the streets of Berlin, or their invisible presence here in Ithaca. My mind wanders to the attack often. I've never been shot at before. The fear is alive inside of me now. But the men that ambushed us at his home, neither of which were Zwicky, and one of them is fundamentally different. I've taken to calling him the relative man, to borrow a term from Albert. Something truly awesome has transpired. Someone has been able to evolve a Homo sapien into something more, as nature once did many thousands of years ago. Is this the product of Zwicky's work? What is Zwicky trying to do? Better yet, what has he done? Has he built a golem? Has he flown too close to the sun, or looked too deeply into the void? There are so many dark questions swirling about my mind. My fear is that he has gone too far before we can really understand what we're doing. I sit here surrounded by the religious and historical works Zwicky has collected. He's searching because he hasn't found the answer in science. For they know not what they do. That is humanity's problem, right? I think the speed of our technology will always outpace our morality. The experiment of today weighs in balance to the outcome of tomorrow. Speaking with Dr. Bett and Dr. Kassler, we have come up with only more questions than answers. My mind struggles to connect the dots. Bett seems to be at a total loss, while Kassler is more driven, determined to find answers. I spoke with him for over 3 hours, exhausting every angle of Zwicky's research. And at the very least, Kassler, I'm sure, will help me unravel Zwicky's research once we find it. I miss you, Otto. I fear for you. I wish I could say that America was safe, but even we are under threat. We must have moxie or the world will go belly up. Atticus then takes this letter and lights the corner with his Zippo and watches it turn to ash, just like the blood on the porch.
And welcome back to the Ithaca Project. I will once again be your handler. This is Josh, P.S.
And I'm Matt, playing Sergeant Gilbert Buckholz of the Ithaca PD.
Hey, this is Devin. I'll be playing Counselor Audrey Ann Pearson of the FBI. Soon under review.
And this is Jake, playing Alan Slater of the FBI.
Hey folks, Dan here, playing Dr. Atticus Kane, the physicist.
Okay, we'll more or less pick up from where we left off. Slater and Pearson are at the gas station, sitting in their truck, finishing up a conversation. And you were heading to...
We were going to go to the school and, you know, miss the meeting and then go back to the hotel.
Okay.
We don't have to role play all that out if you don't want to.
All right.
I want to play by play.
How late is it?
It's probably, by this point, 9 o'clock at least.
Okay.
Past 9.
All right.
Slater, give me an alertness roll.
Pass.
Pass. Would you roll?
49 under 70.
Okay. You head to the university. You hear from the checking with the secretary. You kind of just missed them. They left 15 minutes before or so. And you start heading back towards the motor lodge. And Cornell's not a big city, but it's relatively quiet. It's a Monday night. As you're taking a turn back up to the motor lodge, something just keys in your head. And you are pretty sure you passed the same car twice, on the way out and the way back. Your headlights kind of swept by them, and all you could tell was two silhouettes, two figures in it. As you turn up towards the lodge, you see the car, you look up in the rearview mirror, and it kind of drives straight and passes back behind you.
I think that was them.
She looks up. Who?
Our tail. I think that was them that just went by us.
Turn around.
They're going to know.
Turn around.
All right, I turn around.
Turn around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Down, 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 down.
You cut the wheel and turn around.
Quick. Fast.
Fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a drag track.
Dan, you're actually
Dan, you're not there.
Yeah.
at the Green Gorge Motor Lodge. And
Can I be sitting in the diner across the street?
do you want to be?
Yeah.
Sure. You see the pickup truck, and you're kind of maybe motioning to settle up your tab. It's Slater and Audrey. And all of a sudden you see them start to pull into the lodge and then not peel out, but take a hard turn and kind of accelerate right back where they came from. Meanwhile, Buck, give me what do you think you would call trying to tail someone without being spotted? I don't know that it's drive. Maybe streetwise?
That too.
I put my hat in for drive.
I mean, is a race car driver good at not at tailing someone?
It's different. I think drive is ambiguous enough to drive how is the question.
Okay. I think in this situation, just kind of knowing the neighborhood because there's enough cover, there's enough other cars on the road, things like that. You can you're doing it based off kind of pace of life. So give me a streetwise roll.
I'm satisfied with that veto, Josh.
That's a 12 pass.
Okay. Opposed by alertness. And that was a fail.
Can I question just about the rules? If his alertness roll was higher, he would have spotted him.
If his
Higher but passing.
Higher but passing.
minus modifiers, you can give someone a benefit.
Sure.
If they have the advantage.
Yep.
Here, I was going to make it a straight out roll.
Okay.
But it was a failure. As you tail Dr. Kassler, you follow him, and he heads through town towards the west edge of Ithaca, kind of in the opposite direction of the Green Gorge Motor Lodge, which is kind of up to the north. And he turns onto a side street, kind of a development, I guess. Not like we picture it now, very 40s. Quiet street. It would be a little bit obvious to pull in right behind. So you pull just past, and you kind of kill the lights, and you're sitting obscured by the tree line. And you see Kassler pull up to a house, and you see him get out, reach into his back seat, grab a briefcase, and walk inside. You note the address. As he walks to the house, you see there are no lights on. You see a couple lights come on downstairs. It's a smallish but two-story house.
Any other vehicles come down the road or parked on the side of the road?
There's maybe half a dozen houses down this kind of quiet side street. You see a few of them. Probably most of them have, a car in the driveway. But in the first few minutes you're sitting here, you don't see any other cars coming or going.
Buck kind of reclines the seat a little bit, adjusts the mirror so that he can lie back in his chair and keep an eye on the mirror to see if of any lights coming in, an eye on that driveway. And he lights up a cigarette, but he cups his hand over the end of the cherries so as to conceal as much light as he can as he sits here and just gets comfy for the night.
All right. Dan, you're in the diner as this pickup comes kind of ripping back past. You're sort of kind of squinting your eyes, and you see the two silhouettes. You're pretty sure it's Slater and Pearson, and they kind of quickly accelerate back that way. In the truck, the car's out of sight at this point, but it's a winding road where you came from. Kind of leads back towards Cornell as well as other areas. Or what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to catch up to him.
Okay. I will say, give me a drive roll in this situation.
I was foretelling, Devin. That's what I was doing.
Indeed.
That is a 8 under 70.
70 drive.
One of my best skills. Yeah.
Wow.
No shit, you rented a truck. Okay. You kind of hammer on it a little bit, and you come up a crest, and you catch taillights up ahead. You know, you're still probably a quarter mile away or so. You're pretty sure no other cars have gone this way since that car passed and you turn. You have a fair degree of confidence that this is the car that you passed.
Okay. Slater he's pretty quiet. He's focused on what he's doing. So he's just, flooring it and going down the road. The radio, he does reach over, make sure the volume's turned up as the engine roars, so that we don't miss anything that might get said.
No power steering, drum brakes, all the good stuff.
Dan, are you staying in the diner or going?
Atticus kind of stands there for a moment trying to process the situation, and he kind of just sits back down in his booth, having planned to go over to the lodge for the night, and now he's just uncertain about what is happening. He's going to go to the counter, and he's going to ask to borrow their phone, and he's going to call the police station.
Okay. All right. Kind of looks at you and says, yeah, sure, buddy. Something amiss?
I know the sergeant there, and I need to speak with him.
Very well. Hands you the phone.
Atticus calls it up, speaks to the whoever.
Yeah.
Dispatch. Yep.
Somebody at the desk answers. Ithaca PD.
This is Dr. Atticus Kane. I'm looking for the sergeant.
Sergeant Buckles?
Yes.
He hasn't checked back in with his daily report. He's still out.
If you would be so kind as to contact him as soon as possible and let him know that Dr. Kane is looking for him. I do have a concern about the ongoing nature of the case.
Sure. He knows where to get a hold of you?
The Green Gorge Inn.
Very well. I'll let him know.
And with that, Atticus will pay his tab and walk back across to the hotel.
Okay.
Different time. Doesn't check his text messages or...
You have to call people.
And then be at a phone.
And then be at a phone.
Yeah.
It's gross. I remember the days.
Slater and Pearson, you guys are hauling along. You're picking up some speed. You're closing the distance a little bit. How close do you want to get to this car?
I want to get right up on it.
You want to get right up on it?
I'm not trying to be subtle.
Okay. The radio crackles through the static. It's loud over the engine. Ulam nest. Owl at the nest. Buckholz, you're sitting there, and Slater, you get up on this car. You your lights flash as you come up and down over a rise, hit the rear view mirror. You see eyes for a second looking back. Buckholz, you hear some engines as Pearson and Slater, this car ahead of you, steps on the gas a bit and starts to pull away from you. You trying to keep up with them?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to get up on the side of them, actually.
up on the side of
Yeah, if possible.
Okay.
Bold move, Cotton.
This is going to be an opposed drive roll.
Let's go.
Buckholz, as you are sitting there, you hear this engine kind of roaring behind you.
27.
I'll pop my
33.
seat up.
Under 40. And you see two sets of headlights. And you see one set of headlights swerve to the side as if they're trying to pass. They're going fast on a back road. Slater, you try to make this move. You kind of gun it. Pickup truck's got a strong engine, but kind of lags a little bit, and you kind of ramp up the speed. This car just kind of cuts in front of you and kind of does a maneuver, and you tap the brakes just a second as it passes right in front of your bumper. And you see it just kind of hold in the center of the road. And you kind of like your left tires hit the shoulder a bit, kind of starts bumping, and you pull back onto the road. Buck, a dark sedan and a pickup truck rip past you. You, Pearson, you look to the side and you see a Ithaca PD car on the side of the road.
Buck is
She reaches over and just lays on the horn with her left hand.
You hear,
Buck is gonna fire up the engine, hit the lights, and start going.
okay.
Can Pearson catch a plate when as we make that maneuver and they come out in front of us?
Yeah, sure.
Little alertness roll or
If you, I mean, over the course of the pursuit, you can definitely get the plate down. It's a
Okay.
New York plate.
okay.
Jake, this guy's pretty good. You can tell there's two people in the car. You see the passenger kind of keep turning and looking back. You can't make out much more than that. You're driving at what you would definitely call a reckless speed. You're out of Ithaca proper, and the road's starting to wind a little bit. It starts to raise up a little bit here. Kind of all around Ithaca, except to the south, is kind of gets hillier and more foresty. And you see a pretty sharp turn coming up ahead.
Just Google real quick whether or not a 1940 Ford pickup truck has seatbelts.
Does not. My 64 Falcon was the first year that they were optional.
Pearson's feet are just planted on the floor in front of us, holding.
But also, top speed is what, 60?
For a pickup truck, I mean,
where you are, you can't get to 60. Especially as you're coming up. This is a tight turn. You start to let off the gas, and you're going to have to kind of brake coming into the turn.
I am not going to brake. I say hang on. As they take the turn, they're in a sedan.
Hang on. Here's Buckholz.
Yeah. Fuck.
here's the fire trucks to come pick your bodies out of the woods.
As they kind of take the turn, I want to kind of go straight and ram this and hit the side of their sedan.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, classic police maneuver, right?
Buckholz, are you trying to catch up or just maintain pursuit? What are you doing?
I'm trying to maintain pursuit and also using the radio you gave me in my car to
You gave me.
call into headquarters that I'm in pursuit of two speeding vehicles and give them location.
Roger, do you need support out there?
Yeah, send a car if you got one.
All right, we'll get on it. All right.
Alert whatever town we're heading towards as well. Get in touch with
On?
Mappy map.
Enfield.
get in touch with Enfield PD. Let them know that we're coming through.
Okay, Jake, wouldn't Slater give me a fairly important drive roll?
Fairly important, you say? All right. All right. I passed. I hope it's not opposed, though, because I rolled a 4.
It is opposed,
Oh boy.
But you failed?
and they failed.
There you go. That's what you needed.
Okay, you see them let up. You see their brake lights come on for a moment, and then they see your headlights zooming up in their rear view mirror. You see the brake lights go out, and they start to try to accelerate, and the ass end kind of slips a little bit right as you hammer into it. You're right coming up to the side of a bridge, and you smash into this car, and it hits up against the guardrail of this bridge. Give me another drive roll.
Come on, Jake. What'd you do?
Critical failure.
Okay.
Oh, God!
88.
Oh, no.
Over 70.
Oh,
I'm gonna mark that.
Mark it. Yeah, you're going to mark it in your soul as you ascend to heaven. Oh.
Here's
There
my
are
sevens.
sevens.
That's for us.
I hope that's an ambulance.
Just leave it on there.
Leave that in.
Yeah.
What a time for a critical failure.
Oh boy, buddy.
You're going to go off the...
There are only 3 numbers I could have rolled that would be a critical failure.
88, 99, 100.
3% chance.
Yeah, pretty good.
God.
It's lower than rolling a 1 in D&D.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is worse than a 1.
Why do you say
don't
that?
put it like that, dude. That's
Before I
don't put it like
explain
that.
what's going to happen.
Don't say that.
awful.
Okay.
Just you and me, Dan.
That's right.
You smash into this car. The ass end of it hits the guardrail. You try to get control. Your front end actually gets caught under it, and the car flips, and it goes right over the guardrail. And you come straight onto the guardrail, almost directly under you. You hear a smash, and both of your heads just rattle inside the car. The truck comes up, and you feel weightless for a moment. And then you feel the guardrail on the left side, and you feel your body's turning. Buckholz, ahead of you, you're trying to catch up, and as you get a little bit closer, and you realize that pickup truck is the one Slater was driving. And you make that realization right as it smashes into the sedan, and you see one and then the other go up and over the bridge, and you hear crunching metal smashing.
Hey, Devin, what's Audrey Pearson's swim skill?
Dr. Atticus Kane takes the
I
tea
don't know if I
bag out
put
of his
points on
tea
that.
and settles down with a book.
I gotta look up damage.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let's see. 94 vehicles. This gonna tell me anything?
There's the combat section, and then there's the equipment and vehicles section.
Okay. I doubt that Delta Green gets into the mechanics of car crashes. So we're gonna make a gut roll here.
Impact. Slamming into a barrier can be deadly. It has a lethality rating of 10% for every 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour of speed. Double the lethality rating if your agent slams into a wall and there's nowhere to tumble. An agent who survives an impact must make a con ×5 test or be stunned. For damage from a vehicular crash, see vehicles, page 95.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Wow, it covers it.
you're going about 50 miles an hour.
Okay.
But it is not, you're not getting stopped
Right.
Until they hit the ground.
until you hit the ground. Buckholz, as you come to a screeching stop, the guardrail is smashed and bent away. And you see it's not a sheer drop off. This is kind of like a triangular gorge that runs with a small river stream
With
running below it.
alligators at the bottom.
And you see down below. Pause. Ramming.
Ramming speed, Captain. Atticus could explain the physics of what you're going through right now.
Your body is still in motion as the car stops.
All right, easy enough. We'll go with that.
Oh, God.
Okay. As you look down, Buckholz, you see the sedan crumpled and twisted, coming to a stop on kind of like at an angle, mostly on its top with the bottom facing upwards. The smoke and steam, broken metal all the way down. The pickup truck kind of goes over the side and hits and kind of slides forward and comes slamming up against a tree. We're going to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Slater, you take 5 hit points of damage. Audrey, you take 4.
Oh, he's rolling for the baddies, or the family.
Yeah.
Someone pulled out into the road
This is
earlier.
just a gut instinct that you think you saw this car following you, and then they were spooked by some psycho in a pickup truck behind them.
You said they're good. They were doing advanced maneuvers.
Yeah.
These people needed to go.
Every citizen has a right to protect themselves.
That's true.
I'm going to need you guys to make a con check ×5.
What does the ×5 mean?
So your con score is like similar to a D&D score, kind of like a 1 to 18, and then the ×5 gets it into percentile range.
76.
Also a fail, but a 69 again.
Nice. You come to arrest with your dick in your own mouth. Congratulations. You are
Dan's
both
loving this.
stunned, semi-conscious, just completely dazed and out of it. Buckles, you stop. Your headlights are kind of washing out and over. You can kind of creep a little bit, so your squad car is pointed a little bit downwards, but you still aren't getting a lot of light. Very little onto the sedan, a little bit onto the back of the pickup truck. It looks pretty bad. The sedan definitely got the worst of it. It went further down and rolled.
As I'm pulling up to the carnage, I'll be on my radio. Headquarters, there's been an accident. We're going to need a fire department and ambulance. There's 2 cars, unknown injuries. ASAP, give them the location of the bridge. I'm sure it has some sort of name.
Roger, Sergeant, they'll be en route.
Excellent. I'll update as soon as I can, and he'll come to a stop and hop out of his vehicle with his flashlight on and run up to the pickup truck first.
Okay. You get up to the pickup, and it's basically on its side. So you kind of come around to the windshield, or actually you come around to the back, the rear window, which is cracked but not completely shattered out. You see a female figure in the passenger seat with a male figure kind of dropped on top of her. You look and you see them kind of stir, and you hear a groan from inside. It is definitely Pearson and Slater, and there's blood.
Buck is going to open up the doors, drivers or passengers.
The driver's side is basically face up. The passenger side is facing the ground. It's on the passenger side down. The front of the pickup is into a tree.
Okay.
You're not getting your rental deductible. roll accounting.
So we're like semi-conscious.
Yeah, you hear somebody's voice calling your name.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Since I can't get to the doors, I'm gonna be making my way up to the cracked back window, and I'm gonna remove my my firearm from my holster and use the butt of it to break the window in the back as I yell, "Agents, Sergeant Buckles, are you alive?"
Germans, Sergeant, Germans, they're attacking. Germans.
You have no idea what he's talking about. If he's having a flashback, you
Can I
bust out the rest of the windshield or the rest of the rear window.
Can I roll medicine to see how injured they are? To
Give me a
see if
first-
they're like
Give me a first aid roll.
first aid. I don't think I have first aid.
No, okay. Roll medicine if you don't. Roll
that is
it with a -10.
That's a success. I rolled a 1.
Okay. You have a better look at Slater because he's kind of on top of Pearson. You can't really get much of a look at her, but you hear her voice. Slater looks pretty bad, but you don't think his wounds are immediately life-threatening.
And Pearson as well. Can I tell, or do I have to try to move him to get to her?
It'd be easier. Yeah, you kind of got to get him out of the way first. You see him like kind of trying to move, trying to push off. You see him push off his arm and kind of wince. And he keeps muttering about Germans and kind of moaning in pain. He's got a lot of blood on his face. His head definitely went off the wheel or the windshield.
Hold still. I'm I'll be back. And he's going to run to the edge of the bridge with his flashlight, and he's going to shine it down on the vehicle that went over the side as well.
Okay.
And see what he can see down there.
Okay, give me a alertness roll.
Fail.
Okay.
Mark it.
You can't see much.
Thank
It's another 50 feet down, probably, mostly on its roof. Looks pretty crumpled up. Whoever's in there is probably worse off than Slater and Pearson.
Okay. He's going to go back to his cruiser and grab, I'm sure they, even in the 40s, police had some sort of like emergency kit in their, in their boot.
You got a first aid kit and kind of a basic tool kit.
He's going to grab that and go back and try to sort of move Slater to check on Agent Pearson to see how she is doing, and sort of begin to stabilize them while he waits for other emergency personnel.
All right, Slater and Pearson, give me another one of those con rolls.
Critical success.
35
11.
success for Pearson as well.
Okay, Slater, you hear Buckles. You hear sirens coming, and you start to see like lights flashing over the tree limbs overhead, and eventually a cop car, ambulance, fire truck all show up there over the next few minutes. During that time, you get you get Slater out. Slater, you kind of get to your feet, and you're hurt, but you kind of do an assessment. Your body, you move. You feel your ribs, maybe something broken. Your right arm is real tender. Your forearm. But you can walk. You both kind of turn together and you get Audrey out. Audrey, you're kind of back into consciousness, but you're unable to really move much. You can kind of like sit, lean against something.
She's trying to scramble, but her feet are failing her, and she's like wavering. Looks like she's trying to reach for her firearm.
Okay.
As soon as he's able to, and he ensures that they're both going to be, in good hands of the other emergency personnel, he's going to make his way down the side to that other car.
Okay. Yeah, you wait till like the fire and the medics get there.
Yeah. As Slater out, he's going to say, as soon as Slater's out and seems like he's okay, Germans, that's who you chasing the car?
2 of them.
And he's going to start bolting.
Okay, you start sliding your way down. Cut to the Green Gorge Motor Lodge. Atticus Kane, you're in your room. What are you reading?
I'm reading about. I'm reading through some dark matter subject notes, and just blowing gently on my tea to cool it down.
Sick. Cut back to the scene of the accident. All right, Buckles, you're getting Audrey kind of situated, and you're looking down at Buckholz's flashlight as he goes down, and he moves his way down kind of quickly to this car. You see his pistol out, and he starts to circle around and shine his flashlight in. Buckholz, you look inside, and you see a body just crumpled and smashed in the passenger seat. That is the side that kind of took the worst of it, and you are certain that they're dead. The driver's door is kind of peeled back open, and there's no one in the driver's seat.
Awesome. Blood outside the driver's side door on the ground.
Give me a search roll.
Pass.
Okay, first thing you see as you kind of move back out around the car, you see a long bloody hand streak down the side of the car, and you see scuff marks on the ground as if someone extricated themselves from the driver's side and kind of slid forward, boots and body digging into the ground, and a bloody hand smear along the side of the car. You shine your flashlight further ahead, and you're about 20 feet from this small, big stream, very small, not a small river, a good sized stream, about 20 feet across, flowing pretty rapidly, but not deep, maybe, 2-3 feet at the deepest. Rocks, rocks cutting out from all over the place. It kind of descends through a couple sort of white waters as it goes under this bridge and further down.
Buckholz is going to shout up to whomever's on the bridge. Passengers dead, drivers on the run. I need anybody down here to help for a search.
All right, you hear some shouts. There's 2 cops there. They turn. The medics and firefighters are getting Audrey on a stretcher, and
she's fighting vehemently to try. No,
ma'am, calm down, ma'am.
No,
you're very hurt.
No, there, and she's pointing to the car, and she's still like sort of wavering on her feet.
We'll get to them next. We're gonna get you up top, sir. Can you walk with help?
Slater nods. He's kind of leaned against the stretcher that Audrey's on, and he says, "Buckholz has got it."
All right, they eventually get both of you guys up top and put you in the back of an ambulance. Audrey's laying down, still kind of resisting. Slater, you're kind of leaned against the side. The medics are attending you. And the 2 cops, meanwhile, run down, and it is Leach and Thompson. And they catch up to you, Buckholz, and they have flashlights and pistols out. They go, "What do we got, Sarge?"
We got a blood trail. I'm not sure what to make of this, fellas.
Somebody walked out of that?
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Eyes across the stream. If he can survive this, maybe he's upstream, downstream. One of you go down, one of you go up. Keep your eyes on the other sides as well.
All right. You can roll for them. Their search is, what's your search?
40.
Okay, their searches
41.
are both 30. You don't have military science land, do you?
Oh, actually, yeah. No, I'm a cop.
Or survival?
No.
Okay, any of those 3 that are highest, this is going to be an opposed roll. So make it for each of them and yourself.
I passed with a 15 under 41. It's a fail for Leach and a fail for the other officer.
Okay. You sent 1 upstream and downstream?
Yep.
Okay. You kind of shining your light both ways. You kind of go back and forth. You go back. You pick up a couple smudge marks kind of leading into the stream, and you kind of are sort of directing both of them as they're moving. Leach is moving upstream, and Thompson's moving down. And you kind of follow Thompson. You see him move past something, and you kind of take a slog through this stream. And the water's cold, even in May. There's a lot of melt still here, and your feet are getting a little numb. And as you get under the overpass, you see some scuff marks leading up the bank, further away.
He'll give out a holler. On me, other side, and he'll keep following him.
You rally around. This is going to be the same contested result. This is kind of an impromptu chase of a sort.
Ooh. I passed 37 out of 41. Both of them failed.
Okay. You start moving, and it's hard. You start to get out of the stream bank, and it's more, there's a lot of grass and vegetation here, harder to see signs of passage. And you kind of move and watching them, you feel kind of like a little bit of panic. Your heart, you feel like you're losing it. And you come back along the side and up to the concrete bankment as it rises up, and you see a smear of blood, and you reach out, and it's dry.
He'll mutter out under his breath. Shit. And as he comes up, Is it so? It's on the other side of the bridge, kind of away from.
Yes, you're well out of sight of the crash site. You're downstream and on the far side of the bridge now, making your way up the bank.
He's going to sort of, as soon as he sees that the blood is dry, he's going to sort of slow down on his chase. He's smart enough to know where this is going to lead and what this is. So he's going to stop and sort of look around, knowing he's not going to be able to find much soon, and begin making his way back towards the scene of the accident.
What do you want, Sergeant? You going back?
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything else out here. It's I don't know. We got to deal with that body back there. There's 2 agents. That's this is gonna be a long night of paperwork, boys. We gotta get this wrapped up. We gotta make sure everything's fucking tight on this case. This is more than I think any of us are equipped for right now.
Before we fade out of this scene, can I do a flashback?
Yes.
Okay. As Audrey and Slater are brought to the hospital, Devin's going to help me with this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we see the wrecked sedan with the body in it. And the camera fades and then comes back on a different sedan with a body behind the driver's side. And 2 men are standing in front of the sedan. Agent Slater and
Art Pearson. Sergeant Art Pearson.
Nice instincts.
Ooh.
we talked about this.
Oh, okay.
Bottom of the screen, 1932, Gary, Indiana. What exactly am I looking at, Art?
Thanks for coming, Al. Looks like we got one of our local boys. He's got a rap sheet as long as the Constitution. Seems like a single bullet wound. Chest.
I take a look. It's a 30-06 round.
That's a bolt action, sir. Never knew the mob to use a bolt action, but in these times, I guess they adapt.
Slater looks from the wound to the hole through the windshield and past it to a factory building down the way. Maybe the window is busted on the factory building.
Art doesn't notice.
Well, mob kills one of their own. Why am I out here? You know, I don't work for customs anymore.
No, but see, this guy, he was involved with some runners. Used to do some of their dirty work. We kept it internal. Pretty, to be quite honest, we didn't have a lead for a while. But this was our top guy for, well, you know.
For my son.
Yes.
Yeah, the car matches the description. The one outside my house. You find the gun?
It's negative. Funny enough, seemed the bullet clean through. Should have landed in the back seat, but we couldn't recover that either.
It's a big slug. Probably bounced off something. Kind of looks around across the street.
Art's just looking at you the whole time.
Well, did hear a rumor they weren't happy with him. Bullet was meant for me, not my 9-year-old. You know, they don't like that kind of thing.
No, they don't. I think it's pretty open and shut from here on out. We know that these guys have been changing the way that they do business, as they have to. Getting a little bit more ruthless, I think. But I just wanted you to come and see it.
I appreciate that, Art. A little bit of closure.
Hug your kids. You don't know how long they're going to be around, or how long you're going to be around. You said that bullet was meant for you. Any days that you think it should have?
Every day. We fade back.
Fucking nice. I like that a lot. We will cut to the next morning. Sergeant Buckholtz is with Dr. Kane, and It has been a long night, mostly for Sergeant Buckholtz. You've got a few hours sleep, and you're back at the hospital where Agents Slater and Pearson are getting ready to get discharged. You kind of sign some paperwork, and you get a moment aside. The attending doctor walks away, and you guys are in this hospital room, the two of you bandaged up. Slater, you have a broken radial bone in your right forearm and a couple cracked ribs. Pretty good head laceration. Audrey, your knee was dislocated.
Ow.
You're in a brace. And you've got pretty bad lacerations to your right arm, shoulder, and the right side of your head.
I think we should probably take a long rest. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
All right. Now that that's
8
healed
hours
up,
later, you're all set.
Hold on. If we just do an hour short rest, I can use hit dice.
and then we'll be
Recover.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we're fine now.
Yeah. It'll come into
Science the
play.
hell out of that. Kane
pen.
kind
A
of stands
pen.
there.
Give me a pen. Sergeant, you have a pen?
Kane pulls a pen from his
Pocket protector.
pocket protector and
She
hands it to you.
goes try to grab it, and she just like winces in pain, and she reads off a series of numbers and letters. JRL4TZ. New York plates.
We have the vehicle, Agent.
Well, she's
They went off the
Closes
side of
her
the
eyes.
bridge, Audrey.
You're both very lucky.
From the report I heard, so did you. Did they run you off the road?
No.
Pearson looks at Slater.
A lot happened.
Looked a bit more like you tried to run them off the road.
That was the plan. Did we get him?
You did. One dead.
All right, Matt, I just
Venmo
sent you a nasty
I got it.
gram for you to fill in.
Yeah, that we got both vehicles. They're both currently being recovered right now. The passenger of the dock sedan you were chasing, they didn't make it, and while you've been here in the hospital getting checked over by the doctors, I can tell you this for sure. He certainly was the first one, or he was one of the ones that caught a bullet from you, Agent Pearson, out at the doctor's house that night. Well, the driver got away, and I'm sure you can assume that he was also there that night. The first one you shot.
Did the blood dry up like it did last time?
Yeah. Seemed
Who
like
else
I
knows?
lost his trail on the other side of the bridge.
There was also a note with, you found a broken radio in that vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
a two-way field radio, and there was a piece of paper taped to it with 4 German words on it. Uhl, Habich, Spatz, Adler.
Sergeant, they were following us. They knew where we were. They knew where we were going when we were moving. They followed us.
Yeah, I can put that all together, Agent. You need to relax, okay?
How did you discover this?
They were in my room. They went into my radio. There's a frequency that they communicate on. That's how they communicate.
A frequency?
Yes, it's a team. They're communicating on an AM frequency 1545.
1 Corinthians, yes?
What?
And so it is written. The first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Don't you know your Bible?
I thought you were an atheist.
Doesn't mean I haven't read the Bible. Any hand. So you were able to ascertain these things.
Well, when we left the hotel, we heard him talking on the radio. They said what did they say? The hawk has left the nest.
What's the pronunciation in German?
Habich.
Habich.
Atticus
I
is
mean,
nodding.
probably not, but that's Josh's crack at it.
Atticus is nodding. He has a 40 in German.
Convenient.
You correct her pronunciation.
And Atticus says, "Is that when you spun around?"
No, this was before, but we knew they were following us. We were heading back to the hotel when we saw them drive by, got a positive ID, pursued. I didn't know it was a bridge. I thought it was just a sharp turn.
Pearson pulls out a cigarette.
The phrase you heard was Falca verlässt nest.
Falca verlässt nest. Hawk leaves nest.
What was the other thing, though?
Ul. They spoke of the owl at the nest.
That must be you, Doctor.
Matt, you look down at the note and you see those two words and two others.
He'll read off the two others. What are they?
Falca, Yule, Spatz, Adler. For the German speakers, hawk, owl, sparrow, eagle. Audrey, you remember a second message right before everything went black. Said owl at nest.
She repeats the message. They
So
know
there are more of them.
there's a team, and they know where we all are and when we all move. They know where we are staying. They know which rooms we occupy at the lodge. They know who you talk to, and they're communicating.
And they're obviously German. I think we had it a little wrong. It wasn't Zwicky and his partner that came back to his house to get something. It was the Germans looking for something. And then they came back, they found the room, they looked through it.
Do you think they've kidnapped Zwicky?
I think they're looking for him, same as us.
Slater, why would they need to write down the German words, though? I mean, it's only 4. You'd think they'd be able to remember it. Why would they want to leave that as a clue, huh?
Jake, kind of standard military protocol on a radio. You have call signs, they might change. A lot of times you'll just write them or what your call stations are or whatever.
I say it's not that weird. We used to do it. We had call signs or code names or something. We'd put it right on the radio so we remembered it. Make sure you get your, make sure you don't slip up and say what their real name is or anything like that.
So German military.
I mean, unless Audrey, unless you think they sounded like they weren't native speakers, if that's what you're getting at, if you think they're trying to fake it, but.
Audrey, give me a German linguistics roll.
It's a little askew. 10.
Ooh.
Under 25.
I mean, it's hard to say with 100% confidence. You're not a native speaker. You're listening to something at a radio in a stressful situation.
And these are very simple phrases.
But it sounded like clean, well-spoken German.
They spoke it well. They're simple phrases, but
they were even like shorthand, like it, not necessarily how you would learn from a book.
okay. They spoke in a sort of vernacular.
It wasn't like the hawk is leaving the nest, like how you would learn out of a textbook.
Just a
It
hawk
was
leaving nest.
Like a quick.
I'm guessing you didn't find anything on the body? Any ID or anything?
There was no ID. There was cash, pistol, and the broken radio. There was a bit of torn cloth that looks like maybe like leather or something that was on one of the splintered pieces of metal on the rear door frame, that your suspicion was maybe somebody pulled something out of the back seat.
Well, whoever the driver was that got away, he definitely took something with him.
Atticus holds up his hand, kind of confused, and he says, "Sergeant, you said it looked like Agent Slater tried to run him off the road. You were with them in this pursuit?"
Back a little ways.
That was you. That was you. The cruiser on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Seems rather serendipitous.
Yeah, pretty lucky, I guess.
No trust given.
I like this guy.
Hey, we still got a quota for fucking speeding tickets. Because I'm on the job.
Yeah.
Who's paying for all that overtime?
Buck's like, hey, by the way, got a couple citations for you.
Reckless driving.
Reckless driving.
So good.
You can pay that at the station, or you can send it by the mail.
Yeah. You guys hadn't driven past me, you'd probably be dead on the side of that road.
You're probably right.
I got a question, though. Why do you think these 4 names, they represent the 4 of us?
Well, we're pretty sure about Owl and Hawk. I don't know. The other 2 might be us. They might not.
Do we have any inkling that they know we've broken their code, so to speak?
No, I don't think so. I mean...
And we have no one monitoring it now.
The guy who got away...
You've recovered their radio.
We did... yeah, that's true. I say the guy that got away, he must think... Well, I mean, rightfully, we saw him go past. He must think that his cover was blown when that happened. But we do have their radio.
So effectively, our cover is probably blown, as they know that we have their tools in hand.
They came to my room. They opened my radio, and they set a frequency to trip the contact. It's like they're sending a message.
Unless...
I mean, Devin, that was pretty well hidden.
It was.
If you hadn't disassembled your radio and had significant skill with, if you just looked at that, any normal person looked at it,
It's just a radio.
looks
Yeah,
like
they
an
don't know
empty
me.
functioning radio.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of you're talking out loud, and then you're processing, like remembering your proficiency level and what the average person would.
She has some head trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and she's lost some sanity.
And actually, on that note,
She's drawn some lines here that,
we're gonna have Slater and Buckholtz both make sanity. Buckholtz, you're gonna make a roll. 0 if you pass, 1 if you fail. Slater, you're gonna make a roll. 0 if you pass, 1d2 if you fail. Audrey, you're gonna make a roll. 1 if you pass, 4 if you fail.
You're so mean.
That's a big fail for Buckholtz. So that brings me down to 57.
Reflecting
60.
the mindset you were in as this began. You know, I almost had you make a sanity roll when you discovered everything in the room, but you were role playing it so well. But this traumatic incident leading into it, or happening in that moment, might just trigger a little bit more. I'm going to actually, 1 if you pass, 1d3 if you fail. How do we do, Buckholtz?
Buckholtz failed, so that brings him down to a 57 out of 60.
Slater?
Slater failed down to a 67. Breaking point's 55. That's the number that is relevant to this, right?
Counselor Pearson?
Counselor Pearson failed, but rolled a 1 on the 1d3. 53 over 48. If it was more sanity damage, I was going to deflect, but I'm going to take the 1. Chipping away, Josh.
Okay.
Good job.
Chipping away.
Chipping away.
It's a game of inches.
Slater says, Audrey, I don't know what you did with that radio, but if that had been my room, I wouldn't have noticed. I think they wanted to make sure you didn't accidentally pick up on their station. Now, are they using 1545 because it's Corinthians, or is that just coincidence? I don't know.
Atticus shrugs.
Well,
I think they're using it because it's not used.
Given all that religious iconography in Dr. Zwicky's, could be a connection.
But I don't think they're in cahoots with Zwicky. I think why would he send us a letter warning about Germans if he's working with Germans. That wouldn't make any sense.
I follow. I agree.
I think they're after him. I think he stumbled onto something. Or maybe they've already got him.
The question is, if he discovered something, who told the Germans?
And how is there a sorry, I don't really know the phrasing, but a German super soldier running around on American soil?
How'd they get here?
If Zwicky stumbled on something, how did the Germans stumble on it too?
Well, we don't know if it's the same thing. What do we know? What do we know about Zwicky?
Personally?
No, about his research, about what he's been able to do, if anything. Maybe he hasn't made any discoveries.
I think it fairly improbable. If the man is diverting this many funds from the school and he's buying this equipment, there are applications that he must have made on a small scale, and knowing that he needed to amplify it to really find the true nature of it, pursued it. And I think these people have been watching him. But how they knew that he was here, that he was doing this research, I couldn't tell you.
Unless one of the other members of that Project North Star team actually is a spy. Unless Zwicky was right. I mean, the man might be crazy, or who knows? Maybe he actually found a spy in that organization.
What if Zwicky didn't kill Laporte? What if Zwicky's the one that got away?
It would follow that... No, there's something wrong here. This super soldier of ours, do we think he's the culprit that killed Otto?
I don't.
Physical description doesn't match. At least to Buckholz's perspective from his medical examination.
Then the problem...
Hold on. Just have we talked about the electricity?
that's what I was about to bring up.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Well, I was going to say, if we had a week, that would have come up. I thought we would have discussed all of that over the course of that week, because I did it in that 12 hours after.
Okay.
Yep.
You and did we talk about the damage to the spine being caused by electricity?
We haven't talked about it this session,
In
but
game.
again, that
In game we haven't.
Let's say,
Okay.
unless you specifically told me you were withholding it, I just didn't want to go through, you guys sharing
Yep.
Okay.
every bit of information. So
Yep.
All right,
consider everything that everybody's learned, unless, like, Matt has not talked about Kassler, like what he was doing.
Sure.
Okay.
So, but any of the other stuff is out on the table.
Yeah, so the typewriter too.
The typewriter, electricity,
Yep.
and the okay. I'll let you go ahead, Dan. I'll let Atticus remind us of that.
Sure. Atticus says there's a problem here. If we think that it's a super soldier that killed Otto, yet we see evidence of electrical damage in
the typewriter?
the
and
typewriter,
neck.
yes.
And if you are convinced that is Zwicky's typewriter, that damage could have only been done by him, and the damage that was done to Laporte's spine, I don't know what else to say besides massive amounts of electricity. Nothing else could do damage like that.
We're dealing with two different things here. Zwicky has some sort of weapon that uses electricity?
No. The placement of those hands, where they were contact points. They directed the energy into that man's spine.
Some sort of gloves? Electrified gloves?
But the energy that we're talking about, you would have to carry a battery the size of a car.
Lightning. Is this dark matter some sort of electricity thing? I don't understand how any of that ties into this. But from what I can tell, agents, without trying to steal any of your glory for who discovers what on this case, is I'm going to tell you what I can find. And that's Zwicky. If that's Zwicky's typewriter, Zwicky killed Laporte. whomever we're chasing with this super healing ability could be after Zwicky, could be working with Zwicky. We don't know.
Well, that's exactly it. They've got different abilities. The Germans, they heal their wounds, but they don't have this electricity thing. They're after Zwicky for that.
Buckholz is going to pull out a cigarette and light up a cigarette. Fucking powers, electricity. What the fuck is this going on in this goddamn town?
Matt, you didn't do like an autopsy or super thorough medical examination, but you did get a chance very early this morning to look over that body, which is sitting in cold storage at Halloran's, that was recovered from the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And it still had a gunshot wound.
Yeah. Only one of those Germans had powers. The other one's dead. Gunshot wound, lying in cold storage. So,
are we even sure it's still
powers, there? Look, as far as we can tell, the dead aren't walking around, Agent Pearson. Please.
Slater says, "Hand me my coat. My notebook's in the pocket." He's still in a bed, right? We're in the hospital.
Atticus goes over and pulls the notebook from the pocket and hands it to you.
You've signed your discharge papers, but you're probably both still in hospital gowns. Your clothes are folded up, bloodied on the side. We'll say that Atticus brought you guys change of clothes and everything, but your original clothes are there. He picked you out a fabulous outfit.
Pearson steps out of the room to change. She's shaking her head in just disbelief and this is out of hand.
Whether Zwicky murdered Laporte or whether he's hiding from the Germans, we must find him.
Before he does any more damage. I don't know if he can control whatever it is that's inside of him.
Bailey said he heard shouting. I'm looking at my notebook. He said he heard shouting, he heard crashing, he heard screams. He opened the door just as someone was running out. This whole time we've been thinking, what if the two men in there were Zwicky and an accomplice? But what if that's not it at all? What if the accomplice was the German and he was there to meet Laporte? Zwicky came in on him. He found Laporte with the German and he killed him. Then when Bailey showed up, they both ran. One out the door, one up the stairs.
You're suggesting my friend was a traitor.
Look, I know you think you knew the man, but we have to look at every possibility. And would it be the strangest thing that's happened on this case so far?
No.
Well, then, we need to figure out how they came about the information, and we need to find out where the equipment Zwicky had purchased has ended up.
That's still our best lead.
Are the two of you capable of moving?
My arm is broken, but yeah, I can move. How's your knee?
She's wincing as she walks. I think there's an attendant that comes and tries to bring her like a wheelchair, and she like violently like waves them off. I'm fine.
Crutch, a walking cane? I mean, something, miss? You should try your best to keep your weight off that. It's reset, but it'll be quite tender.
A cane. I'll take a cane.
Sure.
Sergeant, I'm not going to be able to fire a pistol if it comes down to a fight. Do you got any rifles down at the station?
Yeah, we got a few. One of the benefits of having Ithaca gun company in town.
He nods. Got any M1917s lying around? You know, the old ones from the war?
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Well, I suppose there's a whole bunch of paperwork I got to sign to take that thing out, right?
Sergeant, could you get me that radio you recovered from the car?
Yeah.
The other thing we were discussing before all this happened was if there are Germans here and then they're keeping an eye on us, it's probably not safe, Doctor, for you to be going around alone. They might decide to pick you up, especially now that things just got more serious with one of their own getting killed.
Atticus kind of raises his eyebrows a little.
I'd suggest that you stay with one of us at all times.
What if I were to be bait?
That's out of the question.
What do you propose?
She looks at Buck.
Well,
He's
if
staring
they're looking for
at
scientists
the doctor.
that understand dark matter, I'm probably next in line.
You can't be serious.
I would expect that you would come to my rescue. Isn't that right?
A little smile escapes her face.
Not a bad idea, but how do we sweeten the honey pot?
Slater, this is what you're thinking from your agency kind of training is if their objective had been to snatch up scientists, they absolutely
They could have already done that.
with the proficiency
Yeah,
they demonstrated.
that's true.
However, it's not to say that the rules of engagement haven't changed with this. I'm not going to say that for sure. You do know that the proficiency these guys have shown, if they wanted to grab somebody else, they probably could have and would have by now.
I have an idea.
Well, what are you thinking?
If you're right about the Germans being after Zwicky, we could make an announcement that a large trove of heavy machinery has been recovered in a fraud case. We could plant it at a location theoretically say that we have seized this equipment, seized by the Ithaca PD perhaps. And we say that it's been recovered and that investigators are looking into it. We have top scientists from around the globe that have come in to discern the nature of the machines and what they can do. If you're right, and the Nazis are after whatever Zwicky was working on, and they believe that it's in our custody, they'll be unable to resist themselves. We could be there lying in wait.
It's possible. I think either of these courses of action should be secondary to what the utility company presents. That may be the fastest track to understanding where these people could be hiding.
I think it's a good plan, but it doesn't get us closer to finding Zwicky.
Said,
Does not.
that plan come out of a federal budget, or you guys expecting us to foot the bill? Because we don't have that kind of money or resources.
Neither does public radio. Anything, they would gladly oblige.
I'm going to put a pin in this and jump forward a little bit. You guys get discharged from the hospital. You go back, get yourselves cleaned up as best you can. At some point, you all reconvene at the police station. Agent Slater gets signed out what'd you want? Springfield 1903?
Yeah. That sounds good.
It's comfortable. You've had it in your hands before. While you're there, you also have time, Agent Pearson, to look over the radio. You have good comm skill.
50.
I won't even make you roll.
Great.
Basically, what you're going to find, this is a military-grade German field radio. You know, at this point, for this scale radio, there's no kind of encryption or anything like that. But it is definitely military-level kind of asset.
What's the range on a radio like this?
It depends on the terrain.
Okay.
You know, it's not line of sight, but it is obstructed by, you know, terrain features, things like that. Clear and open at the very furthest. This could probably reach 25 miles. In this kind of terrain, rolling hills, forest, things like that, 5 to 10 would be more realistic.
Great. Would that place the range when we first heard it inside the limits of Ithaca?
Ithaca and its surroundings.
Okay.
Depending, you also don't know what was the transmitting radio.
That's true. It could
You
be
don't
much
know-
more powerful.
You don't know if the radio that you guys recovered, you don't know if they were receiving or sending the signal.
Okay.
You spend some time with the utility company, and you also get Officer Sheffield catching up with you. Between those pieces of information, you're going to pay off the work you did before, mostly Pearson, of digging into this whole Indian Cove, Northeast Power and Light. It takes most of the day to kind of do all of this, put all these pieces together, look through these records, everything you guys subpoenaed and got.
She's not going anywhere fast.
There was a number of purchases. Everything was done with kind of multiple channels. It's hard to pull it back. But you managed to get a bill of sale and then a third-party shipping company that delivered one of the power supply units from Indian Cove Hydro Dam to Cross Lake Dam. From the utility company, you learn that that is a hydroelectric facility, relatively small in scale, located near Jordan, New York, about 40 hours to the north. I'm sorry, about 40 miles to the north. Ceased active operations 3 years ago. You're at the police station. It's night now. The sun has just set. And you have kind of, you're being careful. You're not traveling alone. You let me know if there's anything else that you guys kind of would have wanted to do that day. But collectively, those were the things that were kind of already in motion.
I go for a long woodland walk.
So that's what you got.
I think Audrey sits with this information for a while. She looks around. She's in the room. She's listening to the radio and just looking around at where she is and where she thought she would be when Special Agent Bennett first came to her offering her a job at the FBI. And this is not what she imagined. She picks up the phone and she makes a call. And we fade out from Pearson.
Okay.
Anyone else?
We don't have any information yet that we're going to act on because Pearson has it. I think Atticus at this time is probably in his room because there's PD outside kind of keeping watch on the area. And he's been looking over and rather exhaustively all these notes, trying to put together what conclusion Laporte may have made or Zwicky may have made, and he just can't get there. And so he's stepped back from all the research, and now he's just letting his mind wander about the possibilities that have been achieved. Some superhuman person that seems to heal, another one that seems to control electricity, and wonders kind of about the world of physics that we are now entering into.
Your only real true research is your own scientific background and Dr. Laporte's notes and studies.
Yep.
Who was not interested primarily in dark matter.
Yep.
But you've put together as many of the pieces as you can. But the best way to kind of equate your understanding is that you have a box and you're turning it and looking at it from the outside and imagining what could be inside. You have an idea of the scale of the box, the size of the box, what's around it, but what's inside is still a mystery.
Good old superposition.
Devin, you want to talk about this phone call at all?
Yeah. The phone rings multiple times. There's no answer. And then just a beep. Hi. It's me. Listen, I'm still in New York. And I think when it's done, I'm going to come back to Chicago for a little bit. I think I just need home a little bit, and I hope that you're there when I come home. You don't have to call back. I'll probably be out somewhere. I miss you, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Rosie. She hangs up.
Fade out from there. Back to, where do you guys reconvene in the morning?
Diner?
Diner,
Across
maybe,
the street.
Maybe,
Diner.
yeah.
You guys can, we can say at this point, you kind of get your own space at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
You're still in public, but you're pretty confident there's no listening bugs, and you're very aware of your sight lines. So just for the sake of DM showing his hand, I'm not going to spy on you if you want to talk at a diner, because it's cool. You're all there. You're been careful to move in twos. Counselor Pearson last walk in with a folder. You sit, there's already a cup of coffee there for you. And it is the four of you. Sheffield just left. He dropped you off some more of those kind of same documents to Buckholz. Audrey kind of glancing across. Looks like, looking quickly, some more kind of reinforcing moves. No delivery notices, nothing like that. Nothing as solid as what you've already put together.
She takes a sip of the coffee. Nice big long sip. She lights a cigarette. Drags. Just looks at all the three other members of the team.
Atticus looks tired. His eyes are kind of red-rimmed. Looks like he hasn't slept much.
Jordan, New York. There's a hydroelectric facility called Cross Lake Dam. They ceased operations 3 years ago, but through a bill of sale and a third-party shipping company, I found that Indian Cove had sent some supplies there. She pulls out from the folder a little map of the area, little red pen, it's drawn a route. There's a couple ways there. I think if we go, I think we know what we'll find. What we need to be careful of is that no one else follows us there.
So you think Zwicky is held up here?
I think that's where the equipment is. As to whether Zwicky is there, I don't know.
But we go there, we're leading the Germans right to him.
Yes. We have their radio. It's it's military grade. Range is, out here, 5 to 10 miles. I think we stay tuned in. We take a loop around, and she shows you sort of a roundabout route that sort of will take, side roads that seem innocuous.
Is this a hydroelectric dam?
It is. I think if we take this route here, we wait for communication. We see if they talk, if there's any chatter about them, if they lose sight of us, if they know where we're going, then we bail out. We don't make a move until we know we can do it safely. Sergeant, I apologize for the way I've acted towards you. I think now is the time that we need to put things to the side and do what we all came here to do.
Atticus kind of has his eyes down at his coffee. He's not looking at the two of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see that map.
She spins it around.
So you think we take this, looks like an access road. Is that, Sergeant, is that a dirt road?
The last road is a gravel road. There's a couple secondary roads that lead there north along Cayuga Lake.
Well, I guess we need to make sure we shake these Germans then. Either that or we take care of them before we go over there.
To our knowledge, there are at least two left, yes?
Sure. The The one who can't be killed, and whoever he's talking to on the radio at the least.
Do we use Plan B? Do we draw them out?
Sorry, but maybe I'm missing something in the military department. But if they were tailing 4 people, wouldn't that be 4 different sets of eyes, one on each group, or no?
We've only seen communication for 2, Hawk and Owl.
They got 2 other names, though, right?
You're right. There could be more. We have no idea. We have very little intel on that. Also, we know we're going up against someone who can get shot and doesn't seem all that bothered by it. What is... I feel like this is a very choose-your-own-adventure question. What is our mission?
Your mission is to investigate the murder of Dr. Laporte to secure any threat to Project North Star.
Okay. Trying to think of what I say. What would the Bureau want us? What would they care about more? German spies or this technology?
I think the two go hand in hand.
This project that Zwicky is working on, it came out of North Star. It came out of research he was doing at Cornell. The other scientists seemed disinterested at best. Now, whatever this is, it could change the world.
It's not entirely true, by the way, Agent. Kassler was quite interested in his research, just didn't know much about it.
Regardless,
Very interested.
Zwicky was isolated from the team. It was Gibbs. If your team leader is rebuking your work, he took it home with him. He's using school resources. He's using federal grants to pay for this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, it is property of the United States government. Zwicky himself, if he was responsible for this murder, he needs to be brought to justice. And as a matter of these Germans, well...
To be honest with you, I'm not a military tactician, nor am I a fighter. If we are to draw them out, the only thing I can offer is temptation.
I say we try to shake the Germans. Go to this dam.
Okay.
You're right. I think that's more on mission.
I don't think we go alone.
Well, the problem is the more people we bring, the more we stick out.
I know.
The other side of drawing out the Germans is if it comes to a fight, 2 out of the 3 of you are a little worse the wear.
That's true.
Speaking of that, reading up on recovery, there will be some flavor effects of your wounds. However, your hospital treatment has done some good. I want you guys both to roll a constitution check. If you pass, you're going to get a D4. If you fail, you're going to get a D2.
Critical success.
Critical success?
11.
Give you a full 4.
Who?
Would I have healed in the week since that shootout?
Yeah, you just took 1 HP,
Yeah.
right? Yep, you'll heal that up. How'd you do, Pearson?
Pearson hasn't been following doctor's orders. She only gained 1 hit point back.
Okay, you're down 3 still?
Down 3 at 7 out of 10.
Jake, you're down 1?
I'm down 1.
Okay. So, mechanically, I'm going to kind of flavor it. Not going to say there's anything you can't do. Audrey, your movement's going to be affected. Slater, anything you try to do solely with your right arm is going to be affected. But, having a rifle, you can work that with 2 hands. It's just the outer bone that's broken. Got a soft cast on it. Should be fine.
Might hurt, but you can take a shot.
Shit'll buff out. Fucking man up.
Hey.
I got an idea on how we can shake them. This place is on Cayuga Lake, right?
She points to it on the map.
Why don't we go by boat? We drive up here.
Well, it's past Cayuga Lake. Sorry.
It's not.
You got to go all the way up Cayuga Lake.
Mhm.
Cross Lake is connected by river, but it's another 10 miles past the end of Cayuga.
Okay.
And because the hydroelectric dam, there's falls.
Yep. Okay. All right. Never mind.
I like that.
I like that too.
How big is the other lake?
It's significantly smaller than,
Okay.
but it's deep in a fast running river. So you can gather this information.
Hmm.
The lake is only maybe 3 miles long at its longest point. It is kind of like a finger lake. At its narrowest, it's barely more than a half mile across.
I don't think we should ever be without that radio. If we have an in on their communication, we need to keep that in our hands as long as possible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If this wasn't clear. That radio is fucking broken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you might be able to repair it.
We do know the frequency, though.
Yeah, if they're still using it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that frequency, yes.
Okay.
Can that frequency be reached on Buckhold's radio?
Sure.
Okay.
Kind of need my radio to be on, the police
Police.
bands.
We'll say with some comm skills from Audrey, you could tune another radio to it.
I don't like it, but it's the best plan we got.
So we head north?
We head north. We just need to make sure we're not followed. This whole plan goes sideways if they follow us out here.
Most of these roads are narrow and unpopulated. Isn't that correct?
Scenic, we like to call it.
Once you get out of Ithaca,
It can simply be a matter of stopping by the side of the road and waiting.
I don't like it. We should smuggle ourselves, probably. We need a vehicle where we won't be visible from the road. We need a place, indoor parking area where we can switch vehicles without being seen from the outside. That's how I would do it if I was trying to hide what I was doing. That's how the mob does it.
Any suggestions? He kind of looks towards Buckhold's.
Should I roll streetwise to see if I know of anything? It's 53.
yeah. I mean, there's no like indoor parking garage in Ithaca 1940, but there are garages. There's shops.
Empty warehouses, maybe.
City yard. The city owns a facility that they work on, the police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, city vehicles.
Forestry.
Sergeant, could you get us some utility overalls? Make us look like someone that we're not?
Sure.
I say, if we went down to that city yard, got into some sort of work van, and then had Shetfield drive out in our car, that might at least put him off the trail.
Yeah, that could work.
I have a question. Say we find Zwicky. We know what the man can be capable of. I don't think any of us here could stop him.
Well,
you
if he
think he
doesn't
can-
have more than just his electrical powers and he can't heal, then
Do you think he could be reasoned with?
The man's been in hiding. He has been borderline paranoia for the last month, perhaps rightfully so. The man I once knew was of sound mind. What he is now, I cannot say.
Even in the depth of psychosis, if we're able to relate to him, if we tell him that he's right, we have found the German spies, maybe he'll cooperate for a short time.
Certainly possible.
And if he doesn't, Doctor, how do we shut this thing off?
I can only tell you that once I've seen the machine.
All right.
We head north then.
I guess so.
All right. So the plan is you're going to use Sheffield to do a vehicle exchange
Switcheroo.
at
yeah.
City Yard.
I would also suggest probably seeing if there's like a secretary or something at the police station. Being sexist, assuming there's no female police officers in 1940.
And
That could
are
like
women?
like if he could like have a couple other people there already to like be in the car with him to like, you know what I mean?
Okay. I kind of like this. So you're going to get a vehicle, do a little switcheroo, and then drive north?
Mm-hmm.
Pearson will start writing. She's going to write descriptions, physical descriptions of us, and ask that whoever is facilitating these doubles, they try to match sort of the style of dress and the just sort of general appearance of the four of us. She's also going to acquire, if she can, through the sergeant, some utility uniforms that we can do a little quick change when we hop.
I mention, I say, don't forget the cast and the knee brace in those descriptions.
I won't.
Okay. I think we got a plan here. And here's how we're going to resolve it. Audrey,
Yes.
give me a disguise roll.
Let's go.
Is that a thing you have?
I have 30 points in disguise.
Dear Lord.
Scary. Critical failure. No,
79 over 30 disguise.
Okay.
You always wanted to be a redhead.
You do not affect the next roll.
Okay.
Buck, give me a streetwise roll as you coordinate these actions.
Pass.
Pass.
3 under 53.
Okay. And finally, Slater, give me a drive roll with a plus 10 to your roll.
Critical success.
Yeah.
55.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Roll again.
Roll again?
Roll again.
Yeah. He rolled better than you, right?
Oh, but he gave me a reroll because of crit?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Is
75.
that a pass?
That's a pass.
That's the best you could do, right?
Well, you gave me plus 10 to the roll. That's why it's a pass.
It's adjusted. So adjusted 80, 75 out of 80.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So pretty close to the best.
Close to the best I could do.
I get a 77 under 80.
You fucking, if I'm a pose roll driving check with someone who has over a 75, then fuck you, Josh.
I raced on the German Autobahn.
Okay. What kind of vehicle you guys think you're in when you're actually making your way north?
I don't. What's available in 1940?
Like a forestry vehicle,
Some sort of-
probably like a...
Yeah, like some sort of like.
Could we get like a Department of Public Works? Is that a thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a truck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, it's probably
A van.
a truck that I am used to driving
Yeah. Like a
because it's probably
similar military surplus
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're all there as the truck comes lumbering into the city yard garage. The personnel on board get off. You're at a distance. You're kind of off in the shadows to the side. You see Sheffield direct them, and they move over to a couple vehicles at the other end of the garage, and you all go over and mount up on this covered truck, 2 benches up front. You all load up and fire up the motor. And Buckholtz, you're the last to board. Sheffield comes over, lights a cigarette, and reaches over, extends the pack to you.
Take one.
All right, Sarge. Whatever this is about, I think we did it about as well as we could. So you want us to wait? You get out of here. We'll hang for a couple hours. We'll move out the other way.
Yeah, perfect.
Wish you luck. You think you got what you're going after?
I got no idea, Sheffield.
You find the guy?
Maybe. Honestly, I don't know. We're following someone who, frankly, I don't think she's really knows what she's doing anymore, but it's neither here nor there, Sheffield. Listen, just make sure this doesn't get out, okay? We need to keep this under wraps as best we can.
Nobody knows but me.
Perfect.
Keep it that way. I was the only one doing all the chasing down the documents in Cortland. Made sure compartmentalized, right, Sarge?
That's right, Sheffield. You got a good future ahead of you, kid.
All right, easy with the talk. See you in a day or so, right?
I hope so.
All right, good luck, Sarge. He extends his hand to you.
Buck takes a deep breath, reaches out, shakes his hand, climbs into the car or truck.
You climb in. The truck backs out the garage, and you see Sheffield wash through the headlights as you turn and start heading north out of Ithaca. Two of you up front. The cab's kind of open with side seats in the back, and then the full cab back behind you. Brought some equipment that you can fill in the blanks as we go. Definitely a Springfield 1903 and a Ithaca firearm shotgun in there. Or two.
Are you doing Blades in the Dark style? You have 3 equipment slots.
I'm heavy loadout, Josh.
Oh, nice.
As the truck keeps driving north, Audrey fiddles with the radio and catches a news update.
Das Oberkommando der Wehrmacht gibt bekannt, der völlige Zusammenbruch der ganzen französischen Front zwischen dem Ärmelkanal und der Maginot-Linie bei Montmedy.
The French resistance has collapsed and the Maginot Line has been broken, destroying all French resistance. Paris is an open city.
Paris ist infolgedessen zur offenen Stadt erklärt worden. Soeben findet der
The camera fades up and away from the truck. And we just see the terrain, the headlights tracking through this long, sloping road through the hilly woods north of Ithaca. Camera cuts to inside of a home. Phone rings. Once, then twice. Figure moves across, picks it up. Hello? Okay, d'accord. Hangs up the phone. See the back of the figure as he crosses the room, moves up a staircase, opens a door, unlocking it with a key, steps inside and walks over to a radio transmitter, picks up the microphone. We now see the camera slide. We see Dr. Alfred Kassler. He keys the microphone and he says, Herde hast das Nest verlassen. The flock has left the nest. And we fade to black.
God damn it.
Awesome.
You beat it. So otherwise it was going to be the flock is heading north. So you got the leg up. Thank you for listening to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This has been the Ithaca Project. Our intro music is Walkin' with Michael Douglas by Wilhelm Scream. Outro music, Dark Ritual by Adrian von Ziegler. All scores by Adrian von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. If you enjoy the show, please take the time to give us a rating, tell a friend, and find us and interact with us on the webs. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email, Reddit, all that shit. And of course, see you next Tuesday.
That's nasty.
You're all there. You're been careful to move in twos or with Ithaca PD escort. Hi, Red Dog.
It's a dog out there barking.
Outside barking. Red Dog. Buddy. Come here, bud. Come here. Okay. Come here, buddy. It's okay.